isn't WEAF New York, or KGO Oakland, or KSL Salt Lake City. But to the guys and gals of the Fifth Army in Italy, it's Beni and Hope and Toscanini. It's the way the Army brings the touch of home to Italy. And here we go.
This is your American Expeditionary Station in the field with the Fifth Army. A radio service for American fighting men and their allies.
As this program is being performed in a Hollywood studio, a master recording is made from which transcripts will be shipped to Army and government-operated stations all over the world. Strictly for you men overseas, no matter how small your outfit. And speaking of little things and trivia in general, here's old General Trivia in person. Your commanding officer of this command performance, your old sidekick, and Chief Scout of the Wolf Patrol, Bob Hope.
Thank you. How do you do, fellas? This is Bob. This is Bob, Command Performance Hope, telling each Nazi that's in Russia today that Crimea doesn't pay. I'm now getting my material from H.V. Kaltenborn.
Radio on Wheels moves to where the entertainment is. And when a songwriter and a movie star make for the front, the mobile station follows right along.
The Fifth Army American Expeditionary Station and the Special Service Section of the Fifth Army have the honor to present Irving Berlin, the cast and orchestra of his all-soldier stage hit, This is the Army.
This is the Army, Mr. Jones. No private rooms or telephone. You had your breakfast in bed before, but you won't have it there anymore. This is the Army, Mr. Green. We like the marriage nice and clean. You had a housemaid to clean your floor, but she won't help you out anymore. Blew up the buglers come loud. They're in the Army and not in the bed. This is the Army, Miss Dahl. You and your baby went to town. She had you worried, but this is war, and she won't worry you anymore. More. No, she won't worry you anymore.
There's a change in fashion that shows in those Atlantic Avenue clothes. Mr. Dude has disappeared with his flashy tie. You'll see in the Harlem Esquire what the well-dressed man would desire when he's strutting down the street with his sweetie pie. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Suntan shade of cream or an olive drab color scheme. That's what the well-dressed man in Harlem will wear. Dressed up in ODs with a tin hat for overseas. That's what the well-dressed man in Harlem will wear. Top hat, white tie, and tails no more. They've been put away till after the war. If you want to know, take a look at Brown Bomber Joe. That's what the well-dressed man in Harlem will wear. Hold it. Suntan, yes. Shade of cream, or an olive drab color scheme. That's what the well-dressed man in Harlem will wear. Dressed up in ODs, tin hat for overseas. That's exactly what the well-dressed man in Harlem will wear. Really like to wear a top hat. Yes, white tie and tail. Boy, I'm really on it. I've left this stash with the rest of the trash till after the war. Being on it. If you really want to know, tell me more. Take a look at the Brown Bomber. Yes, that's what the well-dressed man. That's what the well-dressed man will wear.
And now a touch of beauty is added to our program by Hollywood's lovely Marlene Dietrich. Miss Dietrich, who has just recovered from a siege of pneumonia contracted here on the Italian front, has graciously joined us here to pay her respects to the Fifth Army. Here she is, lovely Miss Dietrich.
Hello, boys. I want to say that sharing this entertainment with you today is to me more important than doing the entertaining. I had hardly thought it possible that entertainment of such high caliber could be presented out here in the field. I wish to add my respect and admiration along with General Clark and Irving Berlin to the men and women of the Fifth Army. If morale is kept as high, such as I've seen during my visit here in Italy, I'm certain that we can look forward to a speedy victory. Goodbye, good luck, Godspeed.
Mr. Berlin himself will sing the song that has been inscribed for you fighting men and women of the Fifth Army.
When we were told that we were to play our show for the Fifth Army, I wrote a special song for the occasion, which I am singing in the show. Now I would like to sing The Fifth Army's Where My Heart Is, and dedicate it to you, the fighting men of the Fifth Army. I met her in America about a month ago. She asked me if I'd bring her love to a certain G.I. Joe. She said when he returns, I'll be his bride. I asked her where he was, and she replied, not the first, not the second, not the third, not the fourth, but the Fifth Army's where my heart is. He's somewhere on a beachhead, which must be lots of fun. I can see him in a bathing suit, basking in the sun. From a cute signorina, he's been learning to talk like a real native of Rome. She's a very tasty dish, but my baby no capiche till the Fifth Army comes home.
That's a mortar gunner. Before the war, he worked as a steam fitter in Detroit. That rifleman used to make his living as a tailor. He worked on a wheat field in northern Wisconsin. The gunner was a waiter in a New York hotel. They were knocked out of the fighting in Italy or Africa, Burma, or in the Pacific. Some of them were knocked out by enemy fire, some of them by the tropical fevers of the South Pacific, some of them by age or loneliness or shock. You may have known some of them. You may have wondered what became of the wounded who went back. They've been away for a long time now. Coming back again, some of them feel like strangers. What will home be like? Will there be many changes? How will it feel to be back in their own country? The first of the soldiers' questions to be answered is the question of their health. In the big evacuation hospitals along the coast, their injuries are classified and treatment is planned, employing all the skill and knowledge of modern medicine. Whenever it's possible, men are sent for treatment to the hospitals nearest their homes. Once these men are on their feet again, they go to reconditioning and reclassification centers, large hotels that have been converted into hospitals. Here, the men learn the use of their hands again. Exercise brings strength to their arms and legs. Their sense of balance, their physical self-confidence returns. The paratrooper is Sergeant Ralph Borden, who picked up 17 pieces of German mortar shrapnel. Plastic surgery gave him a new face. Here, depending upon the gravity of their injuries and their response to treatment, the men are either returned to duty or discharged. pension claims of the wounded are settled by the Veterans Administration before the men leave the hospital. The Purple Heart is a highly respected decoration. But pensions and decorations are the answers to only a few of the veterans' needs. For the men who are going to be discharged, the biggest question of all is raised. What about a job?
What about a job? That's the question a representative of the War Manpower Commission asked the men who are going to be discharged as soon as they are well enough to be interviewed. What kind of a job do you want? What kind of a job do you think you're qualified for? What part of the country do you want to work in? The information the soldier gives here is forwarded to the United States Employment Office in his hometown. It's their business to know of every available job in the area and to see that the veteran gets the one he wants. By the time a soldier is discharged, he has the first installment of his $300 mustering-out pay in his pocket. He will receive the other two installments, $100 each, on the second and third month after his discharge. And on the day that he walks down the ward for the last time, the machinery that will help him to find a job has already begun to work. Goodbye, you lucky stiff. Where are you going first? A bar? A chop house? A ballpark? Not yet. The first place a discharged veteran returns to is the last place a lot of soldiers saw in civilian life. And to secure his legal rights, the ex-soldier reports to his local draft board within 40 days after his discharge. If the soldier has been injured, the Veterans Administration takes on the responsibility of giving the veteran an education. Available to all men are the war training courses, administered by the War Manpower Commission. Through this agency, the doors of schools and colleges all over the country are open tuition-free. Or if you want to learn a trade, your training will be paid for under the same program. Before the war, Peter Moscover was a salesman. He saw action in Tunisia and Sicily, and after his discharge, he wanted to learn a trade. The government pays the bill. Coming back, a lot of men tell the U.S. Employment Service that they want to change their jobs, and some of them were unemployed when they were drafted. Some of them learn trades in the Army that they want to practice in civilian life. The United States Employment Service places these men. A clerk drove half-tracks in the infantry, and now he wants to be a truck driver. A lot of men who never rode in a plane before they put on a uniform now want to take up aviation. That's ex-private Robert Butler.
I was with the infantry during the battles of Sicily, where I was wounded. When I got back to the States, the United States Employment Service got me this job, the engine overhaul. I'm doing now what I always wanted to do.
The problems of Robert Butler, the problems of returning veterans to their rightful place in civilian life, are secondary only to the work of winning the war. These problems are being weighed in New England town meetings, in Midwestern barber shops, in government agencies, organizations of employers, union headquarters, in backyards, and in the highest offices of the country. The Civil Service Commission and most employers are giving veterans preference over other job applicants, and a lot of veterans have gone into defense industry. Men who have lost their ships, men who have seen how battle can consume and destroy vital material, men who were wounded in combat, know the importance of the weapons they are making. That's Salvatore Grimaldi. He was a sergeant with combat engineers in Tunisia.
Before the war, I did a lot of boxing. And I planned to be a boxer after I got out. But I was hit in Tunisia, and I lost my left arm and 3 fingers of my right hand. When I was discharged, I applied at the U.S. Employment Service for a job. I applied on Friday and started work on Monday as a spot checker. It's a good job, the pay is good, so a chance for promotion. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to marry the girl I left behind when I went overseas. The way I figured this out is these are some of the things we're fighting for.
Grimaldi spent a couple of years in Africa, waiting for this day. His luck was worse than some, better than others. But it's not a question of luck that secures him and his children the prospect of a peaceful life. That's what the sergeant was fighting for.
Dear Sally Lou, this is it. They'll be shipping us out soon. From the equipment, it looks like the South Pacific. This is confidential. So I'm staking this past the censor. To the port of embarkation. They gave us shots for tropical diseases, so I know it's the South Pacific. Hey, Bud, mail this for me. That's Honorable one. Is there a postman in the house?
Technical ferry, first class, at your service.
You gotta get this to Sally Lou.
But have you forgotten the censor?
It's okay. We got a private code.
Well, if you insist. But I'll hate myself in the morning.
Now I can fight in peace.
Oh, Mother, guess what? My snafu in a big surprise move. Bingo Bango Island. Big surprise. Don't tell us soon.
Bingo Bango.
A big surprise.
Don't tell. Big move.
Keep it to yourself, but...
Yes, a surprise.
Bingo Bango.
Corin Tokyo. Help. Corin Tokyo. Help. Oh,
what we're looking for. Like I always said, every man his own censor.
Looks very good. On the whole, yuck.